What's up, YouTube Zero here. Welcome to the place where gamers, witches, wizards, and superheroes unite. Today, I have an absolutely epic gene build for the Brachydios in Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin. Now, the Brachydios is a powerhouse when it comes to fire, so I'm going to focus on fire in this build. But before I get into it, I do want to say that if you do enjoy this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more Monster Hunter Stories 2 content. I do a bunch of other video game videos and mystery box unboxing videos, so check those out as well after this video has completed. So I hope you're having a great day. The Brachydios is an epic monster whom, from our kinship ability, we know trains like Rocky. So what this build is going to do is it's going to take that training and enhance both our firepower as well as our fire defense, and gives our Brachydios some tricks up its sleeve to take on even some of the most powerful monsters in Monster Hunter Stories 2. I absolutely love this setup and I hope you love it as well. Now that we've seen our Brachydios train a little bit, let's get into the gene setup and see how this build is going to play out. So the first gene you're going to see on the screen is the Fire Gene Large. Now I also have in this build the Fire Gene Medium and the Fire Gene Small. Now what these fire genes are going to do is they're going to boost our fire attack. The Brachydios is a fire type monster, so I want to enhance those fire type moves. He also trains like Rocky, so of course his fire type moves have to be on point. We also have a lot of fire type moves, so we want those to be enhanced. Now our first fire type move is going to be Heat Beam, which is going to deal fire damage to one enemy, ignore defense, and it has a high chance to inflict burn. The Slime Stomp is a gene staple, which is going to deal light fire damage to one enemy and have a chance to inflict Blast Blight. Now for our technical type, we're going to boost that defense. We're going to give it defense up with all three of the fire resistance genes, the fire defense ups, the large, the medium, and the small. So now we have extremely enhanced attack and defense. And then last, we have the Fire Fluid Splash, which is going to deal damage to all of our enemies, as well as having a medium chance to inflict burn. And we can see the bingo bonuses on the screen. We have the 150% increase for the fire bingo, and then we have the 10% increase for the power bingo and a 10% increase for the technical bingo. In total, that's a 70% increase. So now that we've gone over the genes and the bingo list and how I have it set up. Now, if you can come up with a better gene organization that'll give you more, feel free to do it. I think this is the best way for this Brachydios to do it. But if you find a better way, go ahead and organize the genes however you can. Now that we've talked about how I set up my genes, let's talk about why I've chosen what I've chosen. Now, the fire gene, the fire enhancement on our attack, is pretty self-explanatory. We have three fire type moves. The Brachydios is going to be dealing out fire type moves like Heat Beam, so we want those moves increased as much as we can. So now we're dealing a ton of damage, and I forgot to mention, increase those up to the 2 stars if you can. But that's the reason why we have the increased fire attack. Now the increased fire defense. This is going to really help us out when we're facing fire type monsters. Altura is one of those monsters that this enhanced defense is significantly going to help you out with. Altura is the final boss in Monster Hunter Stories 2. it is a technical type monster in its base form. So our Brachydios already counters it, being a power type monster. On top of that, a lot of Altera's moves are going to be fire. So you're going to be taking hits like a champ in this final boss battle. So that fire resistance is really going to help us out facing that final boss. On top of that, the second to last boss is Arathalos. So we have our Brachydios set up to take hits like a champ from the final two bosses if you do want to utilize your Brachydios, which I of course recommend. It is, again, an insanely powerful monster, and because it has those fire type attacks, we're going to be dealing out a good amount of damage to those final two bosses, as well as being able to take hits from those final two bosses. So it's absolutely amazing to have this Brachydios set up for both attack and defense. And of course, when you're facing other fire type monsters, you're going to be able to take those hits like a champ. Now, the three moves that I go with, only one of them is a gene that the Brachydios is going to start out with, and that's the Slime gene. It's a decent move to have. It's a low cost move to have, so if you need to change up your Brachydios' moves so you can deal out a power type damage, Slime Stomp is great for that. And it has a chance to deal Blast Blight, which is pretty amazing in itself if it gets off. If the battle goes on extremely long against a powerful monster, you have an opportunity to have that Blast Blight blow up and deal a significant amount of damage to your enemies. Now, the Heat Beam gene we just saw earlier. It is a extremely powerful move to have. You deal a significant amount of damage to one enemy. It ignores their shield, so you're all good on that. It ignores their defense, and it has a high chance to inflict that burn, which is even better. You can burn your enemies and deal that damage over time. Now, the Brachydios does not start out with this gene, but in order to get it, you just want to get a Black Gravios. Black Gravioses have this Heat Beam gene large. Remember, it's the Heat Beam gene large. You could get it from a Black Gravios. So use the channeling to channel this into your Brachydios, and you're going to have this move, and it's an absolutely fantastic move to have. It's a hard-hitting move against enemies. And then finally, I give my Brachydios a technical type move. Now, this technical type move is going to hit all of the enemies, and the reason why I do that is because if I'm facing multiple enemies, there's a chance that one of them is going to try and hit my Brachydios head on, and I like that technical, especially one that deals damage to all of the enemies, because then I can, if it's one of those lesser enemies that's tagging along with one of the bigger enemies, I can hit them, but also do damage to the main enemy that I want to hit. So that technical type ability allows me to counter. Now, the technical type ability is called the Fire Fluid Splash. It's a mucus gene large, and you can get it from the Ash Ketchawaka. So the Ash Ketchawaka will have this Fire Fluid Splash. You can put it on your Brachydios, giving you that technical tree. And then you will be able to counter enemies that try to hit you when your power type moves won't work. So when they try to hit you with a power type move, you can hit them with power. When they try to hit you with a speed type move, you can hit them with technical. And then when they have a technical type move, you can hit them with the power again. So you're going to be able to counter a lot of monsters. Granted, we have nothing for a monster that's going to be using power, but just do the head-to-head with your power, and you're powerful enough that you're going to be doing a significant amount more damage to it. But I absolutely love this gene setup, and I hope you do as well. Let me know in the comments section what you think, and until next time, peace.